Good morning, Bobcats. This is Miss Gorman. Let's go ahead and get started on today's lesson. All right, for today's lesson, we are still in Unit 0. We are on Lesson 02.F. We will be reducing fractions today. Our objective today is students will be able to reduce fractions by using the GCF, the greatest common factor. Why am I learning this? We use reducing fractions a lot when we're baking, when we're dividing up items, and it'll come up a lot in our everyday life. So it's important that we know how to reduce fractions quickly and easily. Let's talk about some strategies that you already know that will help you with today's math assignment. We know our divisibility rules, which will help us determine if a number is divisible by another number quickly and easily. We know how to divide whole numbers, which will help us turn our improper fractions into mixed numbers. We know how to, factor numbers, so we know how to list out all the numbers that you can multiply together to get a product. And we also know how to find the GCF. So let's talk about some terminology for today. So when we talk about a fraction, we can say that the top number is called the numerator and the bottom number is called the denominator. So we will no longer refer to them as top and bottom. Here we can see that the 3 is in the numerator position and the 5 is in the denominator position. All right, let's talk about improper fractions. An improper fraction is when the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So we can say that this fraction right here, 7 over 3, is an improper fraction because 7 is bigger than 3. We can change our improper fraction into a mixed number by determining how many times does the denominator go into the numerator. So I can say that 3 goes into 7 twice, and 3 times 2 is 6, and then there's 1 left over to get to 7, and we always keep that same denominator. So I forgot to press the record button as I was talking and listing out all these factors, but I have the factors of 30 and the 36 listed on the screen in front of you. If you need to pause this to get all the factors down, that is okay. Go ahead and do that now. So let's find the GCF of these two numbers, 30 and 36. So the greatest common factor, so the biggest number they share is this 6. So we can say that the GCF of 30 and 36 is 6. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's do 55 and 44. For 55, I have 1 multiplied by 55 and 5 multiplied by 11. All right, for 44, I have 1 multiplied by 44. And I know that 2 goes into this because it ends in a 4, which is an even number. So 2 multiplied by 22, 3 doesn't go in evenly, and then 4 multiplied by 11. So the GCF of 55 and 44 we can say is 11. All right, so let's talk about the factors of 16. 1 multiplied by 16. 2 multiplied by 8, I'm writing over these other numbers, and 4 multiplied by 4. The factors of 36. We have them listed over on this side, but I'm going to relist them. 1 multiplied by 36. 2 multiplied by 18. 3 multiplied by 12. 4 multiplied by 9, and 6 multiplied by 6. So we can say that the GCF here is 4. GCF equals 4. So we remember how to find the GCF of two given numbers. Let's move on to the next slide. All right, so we are moving back over to your math book. First, let's talk about our steps. So the first step is to find the GCF of the denominator and the numerator. Then we're going to divide the denominator and numerator by that GCF. We're going to rewrite our answer as a mixed number if needed. We are going to make sure the fraction is in its simplest or its smallest form. So let's go ahead and do that. With our first one, we have 18 and 24. So I'm going to go off to the side, list out the multiples of, or not the multiples, the factors of 18 and the factors of 24. Oops, 18 and 24. So up on the screen, I have the factors of 18 and the factors of 24. So I'm looking for the greatest, the biggest common factor. I can say that the greatest common factor they have is 6. So I did step 1, find the GCF of the denominator and the numerator. The numerator is 18 and the denominator is 24, and we found the GCF and we are saying that it is 6. The next step is to divide the denominator and numerator by the GCF. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to switch to green. So I'm dividing the denominator by my 6, and I'm dividing my numerator by my 6. I'm going to get a new number. So I can say that 18 divided by 6 gives me 3. And that 24 divided by 6 gives me 4. So if I were to reduce this fraction, my new answer is 3 over 4. That is in its simplest and smallest form. So we did all 3 steps. All right, let's move on to our next one. We have 6 and 24. So I'm going to switch my color. All right, I have the factors of 6 listed and the factors of 24 listed. So if I look at both lists, I can say that the GCF is 6. The biggest common factor they share is 6. All right, I'm going to solve this problem now over off to the side. So I have my original fraction is 6 over 24. I found the GCF, so I did step 1. Now I'm looking at step 2. It says divide the denominator and the numerator by the GCF. So I'm dividing the top by 6 and the bottom by 6. My denominator and my numerator. I know that 6 divided by 6 is 1 and 24 divided by 6 is 4. So my new fraction is 1/4. That is in its smallest form, and we rewrote it if we needed to, which we didn't, so it's in its smallest form. We are done and ready to move on. All right, so let's work on our next 2 problems. This is in your math book, where we're going to start with number 9. So we need to first find the GCF of the numerator and the denominator. So we have 12 and 32. So I need to list out all the factors of 12, which I have 1 times 12, 2 multiplied by 6, and 3 multiplied by 4. Now we need to list out all the factors of 32. So I have 1 multiplied by 32. I have 2 multiplied by 16. 4 multiplied by 8. All right, so I can say that the GCF of these 2 given numbers is 4. So my next step is I'm going to reduce by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 4. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to switch my color. So I'm dividing 12 by 4 and 32 by 4. If I divide 12 by 4, I get 3, and 32 divided by 4 is 8. Now 3/8 is in its smallest, simplest form, so we can say that 3/8 is the answer. If I reduce 12 over 32, I get 3/8. All right, let's move on to 12 and 18. Let's list out all the factors of 12. and then all the factors of 18. I have 1 multiplied by 12, 2 multiplied by 6, and 3 multiplied by 4. For 18, I have 1 multiplied by 18, 2 multiplied by 8, and 4 multiplied by 4. So I can say that the GCF of 12 and 18 is 4. So I'm dividing my top and my bottom by 4. So 12 divided by 4 and 18 divided by 4. All right, 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 18 divided by 4 is 4. 3/4. We can say that 12/18 reduced down to 3/4. Okay, so we're going to go over some examples from tonight's homework. So this is right off of your MyOpenMath account, and these are problems that you may come across. So let me read this problem to you. It says 2 small gears are aligned by a mark drawn down the center of one gear to the center of the other gear. The first gear has 6 teeth and the second gear has 8 teeth. How many revolutions does the first gear need to make so the center lines match up again? So that sounds like it's really confusing, but what you need to pay attention to that'll help us determine what we're going to do is how many does it need to make them line up again. So when will they be in the same spot at the same time? Kind of like the bus and the train. When are they going to be in the same spot? Or the 2 race car drivers? So we're talking about finding the LCM. When's the smallest amount of time that they'll cross paths again? So we can say that our numbers are 6 and 8. We are finding the LCM of 6 and 8. So we're going to list out the least common multiples. So we're finding the multiples of 6 and we're finding the multiples of 8. So I can say the multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. All right. Remember, Miss Gorman said you can go down your multiplication chart and these show you all the multiples. All right, let's find the multiples of 8. All right, so I have 8, 16, 24. Ooh, look, I already found one that was repeating. So the common number, the repeating or common number is 24. So they will match up again in 24 revolutions. That means just revolving all the way around, spinning all the way around. So the answer is 24. The LCM, the least common multiple between 6 and 8, is 24. All right, let's move on to our next problem. All right, this one says use the distributive property and the GCF to rewrite the equivalent, so the same equal to expression for each given sum. Fill in the blanks to create this expression. So we are going to be finding the GCF to help us write an equivalent expression. So we're finding the GCF of 63 and 49. So remember, I'm writing out all my factors. So I have 1 multiplied by 63. I have 3 multiplied by 21, and 7 multiplied by 9. All right, let's talk about the factors of 49. I have 1 multiplied by 49, and I have 7 multiplied by 7. So I can say that the GCF of these two numbers is 7. So we are going to plug that in. The 7 goes here. Now 7 times what gives me this 63? Well, 7 times 9 gives me 63. So I can put 9 here. And then my sign in the middle, right here, I have an addition sign. And then now I'm taking my 7 from here. 7 times what gives me 49? 7 times 7 gives me 49. So if I were to rewrite this problem, I could rewrite it like that. That looks a little sloppy, so I'm just going to show you in purple what it would look like. So you have 7, parentheses, 9 plus 7. And I'm going to show you why that works. If I were to take my 7 and distribute it through to the 9 and then distribute it through to the 7, we would get this same 63 plus 49. So let's do that. 7 times 9 is 63. I'm going to keep my addition sign, plus, and then 7 times 7 is 49. So we can say that these two expressions are equivalent. They are the same. They're equal to. All right, so this is the last slide. Think, what did you learn today? In summary, today I learned how to find the GCF, to help me reduce. So remember, we're finding the GCF of the numerator and denominator, and then we're dividing the numerator and denominator by that GCF to reduce our fraction. All right, you guys may go ahead and get started on today's homework assignment. Make sure you are showing all of your work in your My Open Math composition book. If you have any questions, please let me know. Don't forget to make sure that you have filled in all the notes that I have done on the screen.